Welcome on in, everybody, to Press Coverage, where we help you gain an edge in fantasy football. I'm your host, as always, Wyatt Bertalone, and tonight I'm joined by Jagger May, keeping in the family here at Roto Underworld. Jagger, how are you doing?
Fantastic. It's rookie season. It's my favorite time of the year when I'm bullying my commish to go ahead and start these rookie drafts, get everyone to pay so I can undo the damage of last season, hopefully with some good rookie picks.
Yes, speaking of rookie picks, we are going to do a 2-round Superflex Dynasty Rookie Mock Draft. Now, I'm taking 101 because it's a nice, easy pick to make, and we could just move on to the other players we can actually have real conversations about. So Ashton Genty, 101, no big deal. You're up for 102.
Travis Hunter, he makes my own little mini tier. I think he is a uber athlete who's going in a fantastic offense with a quarterback that needs him. I'm not worried about Brian Thomas Jr. In fact, I think that them being there just elevates both of them because it's going to be difficult for defenses to key on them. And now we know he's going to play wide receiver first. I think it's a perfect landing spot, and I'm way in on him.
Yeah, we actually talked about this on your show, Fast Draft, that's going to be coming out as well, about this tier that's here at the top of the draft. And it's kind of a little bit pick your own flavor. It's hard to really say either pick is wrong amongst these top players. They're all very good. I'm going to go with my 102 at 103, and that's Tetairoa McMillan, T-Mac, as he should be known. I think he's easily the best wide receiver in this draft. Yes, over Travis Hunter. Might be sacrilegious to say, but I think he's an extremely good wide receiver in a really good spot where he's the number one target. You're up at 104.
104. As a Pats fan, this feels great, and I'm not even picking the homer pick. It's Trevion Henderson for me. I know a lot of people like Omarion Hampton. I get it. I think it's great, but I like the upside here to be a pass catching back with an offensive coordinator that knows how to use it. More importantly, he's a great pass blocker, and he's a better runner. If you like James White for the Patriots, I expect him to see that usage, except he can actually run and has a lot more juice. To me, it's wheels up. Ramondre Stevenson pooped the bed. Now we're here.
yeah. I think it's a great landing spot for him. That offense, I think, is ascending. And I think he's going to take a large portion of that backfield, especially in the receiving game, which we love to see. I'm going to go ahead with the other running back who would normally be gone by now. I think in a lot of people's drafts, I would not expect him at 105 as he's kind of the consensus 102 running back. That's Omarion Hampton. Pretty easy pick here for me at this point. I actually do have him slightly ahead of Trevion Henderson, and that's just because of that first-round draft capital in a good offense. If we're going to be splitting hairs between the two, which it is splitting hairs because I really love Henderson as well, it's enough to split the hairs for me onto Hampton's side over him. But 105 here in this mock draft. Quick thoughts on Omarion Hampton and then hit me with the 106.
Martin Hampton, I think is great. I just think that he's always going to have a little bit of competition back there. And that's, again, when we talk about splitting hairs is what I'm doing and why I'll put someone against Henderson. I think Najee's going to be annoying for people, and I don't think they're 100% ready for that to be a problem. A lot of people think he's just going to be done. Now at the 106, Quinshawn, actually... It should be Cam Ward. It should be Cam Ward here. Here's in a draft where I'd be like, pick on the block if you need your QB, because I would much rather have a lot of the running backs, and I'm not thrilled about the Titans. I know, again, when you and I did the rookie tiers on the Fast Draft channel, we kind of broke that down in detail, that the Titans just don't look great right now, and I would rather just wait on quarterback or get a quarterback another way and get someone else like you're probably about to take right here at the 107.
Yeah, I mean, like the 105 up to the 105, like that is the clear tier, I would say. And this is where things can start to get a little bit shaky. I think a lot of people are going to have Cam Ward in that tier, probably even higher than 106 just because of, positional need and value in Superflex. But we're not confident in that offense. Like, I know they're making moves to improve it, and I think they have improved the offense, but to what extent does it all come together? Cam Ward, good NFL QB prospect, but like not amazing, wouldn't be 101 in a lot of classes in the actual NFL draft. So those are real concerns, I think. And that's why I think like this starts to get really interesting. I like your point about like, if you're up at the 106, you're like, who wants this pick? I think I'm probably doing the same thing and trying to move down and get someone else who I think is in the same tier as him.
Mm-hmm.
At 107, I think this is controversial now at this point, but I'm going to go with Emeka Ibuka.
Wow, that is hot. That is controversial, man.
I had him 107 before the draft. I still have 107. Very confident in the player he is in the NFL. Obviously, this landing spot is not ideal for year one. I think there's some reasons to believe that he could still have success year one. Mike Evans getting old, not saying he's about to drop off, but it does just kind of happen like that for old players. That drop off just kind of happens out of nowhere. Chris Godwin dealing with this ankle injury, could he be slow on rehab? Also, I think he can play outside. Godwin can play outside some. I think that they could all be on the field together, and I think this is going to be a really productive passing offense. Yeah, I'm just staying true to my evaluation on Ibuka. I love the player, and I'm confident in taking him here.
Well, I respect the conviction. I couldn't do it. Like I'd take Ibuka at the top of the second. But I do agree that it's a great spot. It's weird. Again, guys, this Dynasty's not black and white. Fantasy's not black and white. Don't argue over rankings as much as you guys want to. At the 108 here, I'm happily going to the board to get Quinshon Judkins. I think he's in a fantastic situation. I think he is a great, strong runner and an adequate athlete to come in and be a great replacement for Nick Chubb. Do I think he's Nick Chubb? I'm not saying that yet, but he's definitely better than what they have been. They've tried to recreate Nick Chubb in the aggregate, and what have we gotten? We've gotten some Jerome Ford something and other players that no one can name because I can't right now because they don't matter. So Quinshon Judkins is someone that I think could be a top 6 or 7 dynasty running back overall if it all pans out.
Yeah, for me, I think this is one of the last picks you could feel like supremely confident in that you're getting a really productive player. And pretty early on into their career. The Browns have a lot of stink on them right now, but one thing they can do is have a good running game. And I think feel very confident that they're going to be able to do that with Judkins. Just real quick, I want to talk a little bit more about him because I think this is the point in the draft where we can really have some picks being different from league to league. The evaluation on Judkins, do you think he's a 3-down player?
Yeah. I think he's a 3-down player. Like Ohio State, he didn't need to be a 3-down player, and neither did Henderson because they're both very good. And you're trying to think about the long haul in football. So yeah, I think he can. I think he's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs? No, but especially on 3rd down, he's one of the best pass blockers I've graded in the class. So wheels up for me.
Yeah. So for me at 109 here, I don't actually like to make the pick. I would definitely be trying to trade out of this pick if I'm up now, because I think we've now dropped down again in tiers. And I don't like having to take Colson Loveland at the 109, but that is my 109 in my rankings. I've been in a couple 110s in rookie drafts that are happening right now, trying to trade out and had to take him there as well. I don't want to actually make the pick. I feel really good about Colson Loveland. As a player, I like the landing spot a good bit. It doesn't feel like worth this pick to me when I know what I can get later on in the draft. If I'm able to trade down, get a player in the similar tier to him and pick up some extra assets. Where are you at on Loveland right now?
I agree with you, man. I like Colson Loveland a lot. Love the spot. I think he's as close to the tight end one as everyone, but I love Mason Taylor. I love Terrence Ferguson. So it's one of those where if someone really loves Loveland, come and get your guy, give me a little something, and I'll move back and get some of these other guys I like within the same tier. So I agree with you. That's you did what I did with Cam Ward. It's in theory, this is supposed to go here, but here's where I'm I'm at all, just to get that,
Yeah, I've definitely saying this pick is on the block. But, you're up at 110.
110. It's Caleb Johnson for me. I like it better than Loveland or both the tight ends here. I like the spot for the Steelers. To me, I think his opportunity isn't any worse than a Marion Hampton's is. In my opinion, I think that, Jaylen Warren's going to eat some snaps, just like Najee's going to eat snaps from Marion Hampton. So him being in an ideal rush first offense like this, I think is great. And you're getting a discount on Marion Hampton at the 110, in my opinion.
I think we can be very confident he's going to get a lot of carries for the Steelers, especially look at the press conferences, the way they talked about him and how they keep saying volume runner. I think we're going to see a lot of carries for Caleb Johnson. The question about him, I would say, how good is this offense going to be? Like, what do you think about this offense? Who's their QB? Are they going to be in scoring position enough? What do you think?
That is the question, man, because we're all kind of counting Aaron Rodgers here. Where else is Aaron Rodgers going to go, man? Are the Browns going to get a? Yeah, are the Browns going to get a sixth toxic QB? I don't think.
Can we not? Can we not, please?
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's going to go here. Both of them just need to be happy, which isn't great that you feel like there's already friction before he's in the door, but at least for what they've done on the offensive line that has gotten a little bit better, and at least what Arthur Smith can do scheming up runs, I'm willing to bet on that. The same thing with the Browns. Do I think that they're going to be throwing the ball like crazy and having like that Denver Broncos record-breaking year? No, but I think Caleb Johnson can survive because the one thing they can do is run the ball.
Yeah, it's a little bit higher than what I would have him, but it is the same tier, so it's hard to argue with that. Like, if I was trading, if I could, what I do with my 109, what I wanted to, and trade back and take Caleb Johnson, possibly, like, hey, now we're cooking with gas. Like, that sounds pretty great to me. The 111, though, I'm going to take the other tight end, Tyler Warren, mostly because I think he's a really good tight end. I hate the landing spot, but I'm just going to continue to bet on talent there. Hopefully, they're able to get things figured out there in the offense, whether, that means Anthony Richardson putting some things together, or that's Daniel Jones coming in and only throwing 5 yards past the line of scrimmage, and that's mostly going to Tyler Warren, and that works for me too. But yeah, it's really just a continuation of the bet on the prospect. Yeah, saw before the NFL draft. Again, I do want to stress, really don't like the landing spot. Even though he's obviously the guy for this team. It's crowded to begin with, near the line of scrimmage. Josh Downs, Michael Pittman Jr., they don't work downfield a lot in this offense, and the QB play is less than ideal. So we are betting on this, just the prospect, and it might take a little bit of time. What do you feel? Yeah,
I was about to say, man, before we got on, because we're doing back-to-backs here. Before you got on, one of the promos I cut was like a little 2-minute cut from like the solo show I did, where I said the case for Terrence Ferguson for tight end 1. And I said, I get what everyone thinks about Tyler Warren. It's nothing about the prospect, man. Just the Colts have a lot of talent in that receiving room already. Like Josh Downs is good. Adonai Mitchell's not nothing. Alec Pierce has finally showed up. They deserve targets as well. And then you're going to come in and then you're going to bring in Tyler Warren. That's all great, but like, you have half a quarterback at all times. Riley Leonard is like kind of both the problems and strengths of Anthony Richardson and Daniel Jones. So it's not great. And you're kind of betting on maybe a QB change in the future. And if something doesn't happen right now, which doesn't look great to me.
Yeah. Understandable. 112, you're up.
112. RJ Harvey seems like the easy one. I almost said Luther Burden because that's who I want, but process says RJ Harvey.
Do what you want to do here. Whatever you want to do.
No, you should. We're making content for people. RJ Harvey, like you said, man, as much as I don't like the flaws, what does he do well? He has a lot of juice. He has a lot of experience, which is a bad thing to some people. And he can catch the ball. And moreover, Sean Payton seems to like him. That seems to be the number one factor for people getting the ball. It's not even their talent. It's if Sean Payton likes you. Because Devon Vele, Sean Payton likes him and he shouldn't get the ball. So regardless, this guy's probably going to get fed because Javonte's gone. So. Yeah,
I do have concerns for RJ Harvey. The advanced stage is one of them. We make excuses for these types of players all the time. But it is a legit concern. But man, the Broncos, spent a high pick on him. There's no one else in that backfield. Like nothing of concern for RJ Harvey there. And, it's a good offense, an ascending offense. I mean, Sean Payton finds a way. So, yeah, I mean, like I was lower on Harvey coming into the process because of his advanced age and concerns of what he's going to be in the NFL. But in this landing spot, like things are really good. So while this is slightly ahead of where I have him, but like it's completely understandable because of where he is.
Yeah.
Well, before we actually get on to the second round, we're going to real quick hear from the Podfather himself.
Oh, the Breakout Finder is live. That's right. A lot of breakout models out there, but we started it all. The best and brightest minds coming up with the definitive breakout probabilities for running backs, wide receivers in this rookie class. It's $5 to download the wide receiver breakouts, the running back breakouts, but also proprietary stats available only on the Breakout Finder, including dynamic score for wide receivers, teammate score, level of competition. You can access the full stat database, plus many advanced metrics from Player Profiler, all there, right there on your phone, in the App Store, on Google Play. And that 2025 class is live.
We're back here on press coverage. I've got Jagger May here with me. Keep it in the family. We're moving on to the second round of our 2025 Dynasty Superflex mock draft. I've got the pick here. I'm going with Matthew Golden. Now, I honestly didn't love Matthew Golden that much coming into the NFL. I think his film is all right. I'm not the biggest film watcher, but people that I know who watch film, who are good at it, have some nice things to say about Matthew Golden, but the production profile is horrendous, honestly, until basically the end of his final season in college. He's got the possibly fraudulent 4.29. If you look at the film they had of like the players running over top of each other, it looks like his might have been a little bit sus, but that's neither here nor there. The point is he goes first round to the Packers. And while I do think he's more of a number 2 wide receiver in the NFL than number 1, that number 1 round draft capital does give something to him in terms of consistency in his job, basically, with the Packers. Like he's going to get a chance. He's going to get a chance often because that's a lot of capital, especially for the Packers who don't spend first round picks on wide receivers. He does actually fit into the offense well in a way too, because, they got Jaden Reed in the slot. Romeo Doubs takes care of all the dirty work at the X spot. Matthew Golden can come in, be that flanker, run some deep routes for them, that kind of thing. So I do think that he can have success in this spot. The level of success, I don't know. But because of the fact that I think that his job is secure, we're going to get good production from him. I think he's worth at this pick. What do you think?
Yeah. And this is why I like you, Wyatt. You put a lot of caveat in the things that you say and you make your decisions here, because I have nothing really to add, but maybe just add some comps is again, I said this over on the Fast Draft channel. I think he's Jordan Addison as far as a film standpoint, meaning that I think he's a faster Jordan Addison. Whereas I think he's going to be a good field stretcher. His clear role is Christian Watson. He's done shadow him. He's had every opportunity and he can't stay on the field. That's where he's going to fit. But he struggles with a lot of contact and certain things. So to be a guy that Devontae Adams, the Packers have had, or some of these other people, I don't think he's it, but Matt LaFleur seems committed to this system that he has. So with that draft capital and with being able to easily project where he fits within the offense, that does a lot for me to be able to take shots on him exactly where you took him at.
Okay. You're up at 202 now. What do you got?
202 is a guy that I wanted to take earlier. It's Luther Burden. Tabula rasa. That's what I keep saying, man. The Jags and with the Bears, it's a new regime and they seem to want to bring in their guys. Luther Burden seems to be the guy. Ben Johnson hasn't came out and say that he hates DJ Moore or anything like that. We haven't heard any information, but it feels like he's saying a lot of subtext in a lot of the interviews that he's doing. And I think a lot of the things that we saw with DJ Moore giving up on routes, poor body language, even despite that being in adversity, it gave Ben Johnson the ick. So I'm willing to take that bet on Luther Burden. And I like the film and what he flashed, even despite the red flags in his production profile because of the usage.
Now, I was a little bit lower than Luther Burden going on into the NFL draft. And this spot is a little bit muddy for me. It's really hard to, I think, predict what everyone's going to do. I think a lot of people want to just port over the Detroit offense over to Chicago. And I don't think it's just that simple. Ben Johnson, I think, is a coach who's going to put his players in the best position to win, regardless of what that is. And he might just come to this team, look at these players, and then craft a new offense around what he has. And maybe that means that Luther Burden is actually the player we want in the offense. I don't know for sure. I know that I think DJ Moore is a good player. I think Rome Odunze was a good NFL wide receiver coming into the league. We didn't see much from him as a rookie, enough to have super excitement for him, but I'm excited about what he can be in the NFL. And it's just, they also draft Colson Loveland. It's muddy enough here that I have a little bit concern over what the projection actually is for him. And if he can move past this, what was slightly fraudulent college profile in terms of stats, because a lot of it's manufactured stuff out of the slot. Now, a lot of film watchers will tell you he can do more than that, right? He actually has the skills to play outside. In fact, if you look at reception perception for Matt Harmon, he was better against man coverage than he was zone coverage, which that goes to him being able to play on the outside and beat man coverage. So I think it's in their form. It's just the prospect and the situation so muddy for me that I end up being just slightly lower from him. Like if you think you could put on your coach hat, what would you have him doing in this offense compared to the other players?
And again, I don't always like to play the let's slot him in previous coaching history roles, but a lot of the usage that we see for Jaden Reed and Jamison Williams, I would want to see like a baby made of that, where we are going to see these manufactured touches that aren't so much a red flag anymore and should be a part of your offense because of the motion to throw the defensive off. But we definitely need someone to press the defense deep downfield. And I know a lot of people think, well, that's DJ Moore's role, but a lot of times they did that with both Jamison Williams and Tim Patrick and Josh Reynolds. There's a lot moving in this offense where they would have personnel changes with the jumbo package of tight ends. So if you want a field stretcher, if you want someone to attack the defense laterally on the ground and vertically through the air, I think Luther Burden fits into that role perfectly. What that means for fantasy is that you're going to have to accept variance, which is hard for us to do sometimes, where you're going to need to take these spike weeks and you need to take these low weeks.
I like the baby of Jamison Williams and Jaden Reed, because it does actually make some sense for Luther Burden, because Jamison Williams, he's not just this deep threat. What Detroit did for him a lot was just trying to get him on move across the field, get him on the run already, so he can get this basically the start ahead of the defense, and that would be great for Luther Burden. Like you look at that and like that would be perfect for him. Get him on the move, get him on the run. I actually like the sound of that. If that's what happens, maybe I'll be in the Luther Burden business. 203 for me, Jackson Dart. Now I know that you are not in on Dart very much here, and I know you're not in on QBs in this class in general. I like the tools for Jackson Dart. I think he's got a good, not great arm, but a good enough arm. He's mobile. I think he'll score fantasy points because he is mobile. He's quick to run. It's not always the best thing for QBs to be quick to scramble for their actual offenses, for the coaching staff. But for us fantasy players, I don't mind when they're quick to scramble. I'll take those rushing yards. And yes, I understand he may only be able to read half a field, 1 to 2 reads, because that's what he did for the entire time that he was with Lane Kiffin. But let's be honest. What do you think Brian Daboll's going to have him doing? Like, he's going to have him running 1-2 read, Malik Neighbors, check down to a running back or run. Like, I think this offense is going to be pretty simplified for him coming into the NFL, which actually gives me a lot of confidence. Like, I think I like the landing spot for that reason. We know Brian Daboll's worked with. Now, I'm not saying he's Josh Allen, so don't hear that. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying here, Brian Daboll has a little bit of history of developing a quarterback who doesn't have it all put together yet. I'm not saying he's going to send to that greatness, but I do actually like the landing spot. I like the player. I think this is a good pick here. I'd be taking him a little bit earlier, but I'm happy to take him here. Thoughts on Dart?
The same thing what you said to me about Burden. When you paint that picture, it's not so bad, because this really is. It's going to be Neighbors, Wandell. Do I have a running back? Nope. He's just going to run. The question is, how early do you think he starts? Do you think they McCarthy him? Or do they want to McCarthy him and have Russ start? Or, I mean, you got to think this whole office is playing. They're fighting for their lives at this point. Like literally, they got Russ, they got Jackson Dart, they've got Jameis Winston. They're like, one of you guys go out and ball out. I don't give a shit who. Just someone try and do the best to get Malik the ball. So I think that with that alone, that's a good bet.
I definitely think he's starting at some point this year. I think it's earlier than later. I do think Russ probably plays the first few games. Russ or James, I guess. Just one of them. But I don't think the Giants make this move if Daboll is in trouble. Like, I don't think the owners would let them make a move like this if they weren't planning to give them the year.
I think Daboll deserves to get the Joel Shane shackles off of him because I was like Dayball hasn't had a chance to cook yet. Like I get the chance that he may be kind of a douchebag from what I'm gathering, but like maybe like he's reeled that in after losing Coach Wink to Michigan like mid-season, like maybe. But like as far as the offensive and the product he puts on the field, it's some good stuff, man. He's been cooking with like instant pasta and boxed a jar sauce, you know. It's just like it's hard, you know.
Yeah, it's tough. He inherited Daniel Jones, turned it into something that like people wanted, and too much, honestly, because it forced their hand and had to pay him and kind of screwed his job. And now he's just been trying to figure it out since then. But you're up at 204.
204. This is Jack Besh time. Actually, it's Jaden Higgins time. This is another one. I don't like Jaden Higgins as much as consensus, but he is in a spot that needs wide receiver on a team that knows how to scheme with a quarterback. That deserves something. Did you see his reception perception profile? It's a little concerning. It's a little concerning, and it shows on tape. A lot of people are saying, well, he could be just like Nico, and they got a Twin Tower situation. I think that Jalen Knoll is the Iowa State receiver you want, and he's cheaper. So this is another, here's where I would trade back spot.
I would be taking Higgins here as well if this was my pick. So, you know, I agree with it, but I also agree with a lot of what you said. I think he needs to be a big slot, at least to start out in the NFL as he learns a little bit more. I mean, like if we're going to compare him to Nico, which I think can be an apt comparison. Well, I mean, Nico didn't, hit the ground running. Nico had some stuff to learn coming into the NFL as well to become what he is now. And I do also like Jalen Knoll a lot. I was actually really upset that they both went to the Texans because it meant that I had to kind of knock them both a little bit,
Yeah.
I kind of liked them both as prospects. I really liked Knoll. I thought he could be a really great slot. But also, if Jaden Higgins needs to become a big slot, what's happening to Knoll? I think Knoll can play on the outside as well, but just because I think his route running is there. He just can't be press. So, but we got Nico for that. So maybe this all works out. They're all on the field together, and hunky dory, and Christian Kirk can go, I don't know, to another team at this point. But yeah, I still would be making this pick if I were you. Okay. I'm going to go with Trey Harris here. Now, I know you're lower on Trey Harris because, as we mentioned before, and make sure you check it out over on the Fast Draft channel, we talked about this, and I know you're not into Trey Harris that much. I am still into Trey Harris. One, I got to give some credit to the 5.1 yards per route run in his final season in college. Incredible stuff. You have to be a certain level of talent to even ascend to that. Even in this Lane Kiffin offense that does a lot of the work for you, he ran a pretty limited route tree. It's a lot of deep routes and comebacks, and that's basically it. But that's kind of perfect for what the Chargers need. I think it's the perfect landing spot for him. I don't think he's ever going to be like a wide receiver 1. Don't get me wrong. Like he might not even be like a mid wide receiver 2, but I think he could be a low end wide receiver 2 in a good offense here, just based on his efficiency down the field. He does have to battle with Ladd McConkey. Ladd McConkey is that dude. He's that number 1 target earner. I never expect Trey Harris to battle him for that, but I think he could be a really solid piece for us with the Chargers. Thoughts on Harris?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, and the thought that I gave on the other pod, just for like a teaser, is just I think he's going to be a better NFL player than he is going to be a fantasy player. And I love this pick for the offense more than I love it for us to go out and get Trey Harris. So, but I get the bet and I get the yards per route run. It's hard for me to get there, and he's going to be a player that I'm going to look silly on if he does hit, and I'm willing to admit that. Next I'm on the board, it's Jack Besh, man. And there's 2 players that I want. I'll probably would get the other one on 208. I love Jack Besh a lot. I love what Chip Kelly can do as far as scheming up versatile players. And the more and more I look at the NFL, versatile players that can win all over the field. Like if you have a good reception perception profile and you can block, that just seems to get you drafted and used in the NFL. A lot of these players, especially at wide receiver, we underrate what being a good blocker can do. This guy was a converted tight end. So Chip Kelly has a piece where he can move Bowers. He can move Michael Mayer. He can move Jacoby Myers all over and keep the same personnel, but serve different looks to the defense. And I'm not saying he's Puka Nacua, but that is a coveted big slot role that can earn targets, and I love it.
I like Jack Besh. I'm lower him than you, but honestly, after this is now 2 shows of us talking and talking about Jack Besh, I kind of want to move him up. I'm just worried about like what the offense actually looks like, because Besh was projected to be more of like that power slot, like you're talking about, but Myers can kind of do that. And also Bowers runs out of the slot. So like, what's that look like where they can move? But his final season at TCU there, he was an X, winning outside, beating people in press. He's also really good after the catch. You mentioned like these are all good things. I can't hate it on it all. I just like the player, man. I just like you said, I like players who just do all the dirty work. It's part of the reason why I love Emeka Ibuka. Like,
yeah,
dude, just gonna be out there and do everything. I'm just a fan.
Dude, you're right. And like that's what it is. That's why I told everyone about Ibuka is just like I think he's a great football player, and I absolutely freaking love him. It's just like the things that he's great at doesn't always score fantasy points. Like, so I want fantasy to get to the point where we can grade like, man, this dude just fucking smoked a safety. Honestly, we don't have that.
Get points for that. When you get a good crackback block from your wide receiver,
yes.
blocking a defensive end like we've seen Cooper Kupp do for the Rams, like that should get us something. That's
exactly.
All right, 207, a player we were just talking about, actually, Jalen Noel. Like I said, I had to knock him a little bit. Like I had Higgins and Noel slightly higher than where we drafted him going into this. But this is just a bet on the talent, man. I think he's a really talented player. Extremely athletic. I think he's a good route runner. Almost like too herky-jerky in his route running, I would say. I actually kind of compared him a little bit to Jerry Jeudy a little bit when he came into the NFL, where like they're these athletic dudes who like their movements are exaggerated a little bit. They're out in the field. It can actually hurt them to an extent. I think if he reins that in a little bit, like this dude could be like one of the best route runners in the NFL, because he is like pure unadulterated like explosiveness when he's running. Like he's so quick twitch. I love watching him play, and I think eventually this gets figured out with him. I realize it's a muddy situation. I just want to bet on the talent.
I agree with you, man. 100%. Like I'm exactly there with you. And a lot of I've drafted Jalen Noel a lot, and I'm on the clock in like 5 leagues. Like I'm probably going to get another share right now. Yeah. And like you said on his tape, I didn't see it at first, but it's Jalen Noel. Sometimes like my only knock on him is he knows when he's going to get the ball sometimes. Because like out there, I was like, that was kind of a lazy ass route. And then like he'll do this whip route and he'll like give me whip. I was like, oh, there it is. That's what everyone likes, this dude, Yeah. I'm at the 208. Here's where I'm going to take Bashul Tootin. I am not crazy high on him, but I like the Raz. I've seen the flash on tape, and I'm going to say it again, tabula rasa. Gladstone has been pretty adamant that Liam Cohen has already painted a vision for this player. They were aggressive, and he was the top of their board to go and get in day 2. And he like in this tier, he's the last day 2 back, if you really think about it. And he has a good Raz on top of that. If we're putting RJ Harvey up that high, I get there's a lot of mess there, but I am mentally throwing Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby in the trash. That's probably presumptive, but like Travis Etienne, I hope someone else picks up that trash. But until then, it's shadow realm for me.
I'm slightly lower, but not that much lower than you from where you're actually taking him in this draft. It is just a concern of what's the projection actually going to look like for him. If Etienne is going to the shadow realm, how much of it does he get? He is a little bit smaller, some issues with his hands in terms of like a little bit too many fumbles, that kind of thing. But man, he's so explosive. And he is a player, where he gets drafted this early 4th round. Like basically, I think we count those as basically late day 2 because the deepness of the class. It's really easy to just say like in a lot of draft classes, this is where he would have been. I should probably come up on Bashul Tootin a little bit, I think, and I'll be honest, you can actually get him at a really nice price right now. Today I drafted him at 306 in a league.
Yeah.
I felt fantastic about it. Even me, being a little bit lower than you. So you might not have to draft him here, but I do like having him here and as a way of saying like, this is a player that's really good.
Yeah. And you're right about the, like he went day 3, and it's like, and to give you credit, guys, we're recording this on Tuesday. I only just got back from like our company draft party on Monday. Like I'm only just now going through coach interviews, all the stuff that I look at, like which coach is talking shit about their players, which like who's talking high on him. Like we got a whole week to speculate before we really iron out. Like there's no ADP right now. So like, it's like the Wild West. So
yeah, rookie drafts are happening, and this is definitely a draft class that people are taking their guys, and like drafts are not the same. Like the beginning of rookie drafts are similar, but after that, it all goes out the window. It is almost kind of like a get your guy because you don't know. Like you could try and like spec on people, but like I don't, without real confidence on that, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 209 here. Tyler Shuck. And now listen, this is a process play. I'm not a fan of the quarterback, just being honest. But goes in the second round of the Saints. He might just be their starting quarterback for 2025. And if that's the case, I might be able to use him to trade for something I like more. That's it. I'm going to make it nice and easy for you. I don't like the player. This stock market moves here. That's all it is with Tyler Shuck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I won't add anything. I get it. This is, I would say, go and watch the other pod for more analysis, but it wasn't much more.
But that was it.
Yeah, it's like, he is available. He has an arm. So that's it. 210. Now here's where I'm going to go for the tight ends. I haven't shut up about him. Terrence Ferguson, man, I'm in love. I've kind of alluded to this ahead of time. I just put out a video for the case of him. Terrence Ferguson is one of these guys where Sean McVay, you know how he gets that like puppy dog excitement, like he was talking about Puka. He's like that with Terrence Ferguson. We chase Raz for these tight ends. That's one of the more stickier points. He has it. He's a blocker. He has production. I think because of this landing spot, and he got day 2, there is more than a 0% chance that he ends up being the tight end 1 of this class, at least from a scoring standpoint. And I'm not saying like right away he might be tight end 1 of this class as far as dynasty value, but it's more than 0, Wyatt. Like if you, it's not crazy that we might be overdrafting Tyler Warren when Terrence Ferguson's just kind of right there,
The chances of him being the tight end 1 of this class, I will say, are very low. But as you point out, it's not as low as many would think it is. I think actually in this offense, you listen to the way that they talk about him in those press conferences, and it's pretty glowing. And I definitely have to come up on him more. Just thinking about Higbee, he's definitely going to be. It's not going to be his job for long.
Higbee's done, man.
It's hard to say exactly how long it's going to be, but it's not going to be much past this year, if the entire year. And then he can step in and, do a lot of good things for this offense.
Mm-hmm.
All right, 211, Cam Skadaboo. I actually really like the landing spot. I'm a fan of Tyrone Tracy as a player, but I think they work together very well. Cam Skadaboo is capable of getting all the tough yards. Tyrone Tracy is a player you want to get out in space. Both are good receivers. I just really like it the way this pans out for these two, especially because in a way we talked about with the new quarterback there now. Oh my gosh, brain fart for me here. But Jackson Dart, we expect him to be either looking to Malik Neighbors or checking the ball down. Like that's pretty simple there. I think Skadaboo and Tyrone Tracy are both going to be involved in the passing game. We know that Skadaboo can handle a large workload. He could possibly just take this backfield from Tracy, and Tracy is more the change of pace back. Like that's in the realm here.
I agree.
Where he, I thought it was just a little bit of a surprise he went on day 3, but again, like we just talked about with Tootin, I'm counting this like early 4th round as basically late day 2 because of the strength of the draft class. I liked Skadaboo coming in the NFL. I still like him now.
Yeah, I'm going to give you very fast game theory because I know we're up against the clock here. I did a trade in a Dynasty Best Ball draft. I had the 101. It's a doo-doo roster. Like, let's put it this way. It's Superflex. My QB1's Trevor Lawrence. My QB2 is Anthony Richardson. I traded the 101 to get Bo Nix, the 201, and Tyrone Tracy. And I know Tyrone Tracy's weird for its best ball, but I traded Anthony Richardson away. He gave me Tyrone Tracy to set me up to get Cam Skadaboo. right now for best ball so I can own that Giants backfield. So with that, and like you think about how bad of a roster is, and I got a quarterback, and I ended up getting another second on top of trading back, especially if you can get both. And if you're doing dynasty best ball, this is the best spot and best case scenario for Cam Scatterbo. He was always going to be a day 3 guy, but going to a place where, again, you slot these players into to ideal roles. Even me, who was low on Scatterbo, I'm taking shots just because of that landing spot.
I do like that in best ball, getting the backfield. I think they're getting a lot of opportunities.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're up at 212 here to finish us off.
And to be clear, guys, I traded the 101 because Genty wouldn't have helped me on that team. I'll tell you
it's
that.
It's an okay move. If you naturally got the 101 because your team is terrible and you're in a multi-year rebuild, it doesn't do a lot for you.
Yeah. Bo Nix does. That's what I'm saying for me right now. All right. I'll finish it off with another tight end. Crazy me. And it's going to be Mason Taylor. When you think about Andrew Cooper and, one of the best tight end guys out there, the easy path for tight end success, can you be the number 2 target on your team? Mason Taylor has that path immediately. I know a lot of people have concerns about Yak and what he can do downfield, but I liked what I saw on tape, and a lot of the NFL seems to like him, and he got great draft capital. And again, I mean, like, is Tyler Conklin even there anymore? There's just not a lot of competition.
Nope.
Jeremy Ruckett's not real, guys. It's not. Let's give that dream up. It's not real. It's not going to happen. I think this is a great bet, and it may not happen this year because tight ends sometimes are slow. And I'll even give you that caveat with Terrence Ferguson, but it's a bet that I'm going to make at the end of the second round, 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I like this pick a lot. I mean, he is their starting tight end. He had buzz about going into first round. He doesn't go into first round. He goes early second to the Jets. He just walks in as their starting tight end. I like it.
Immediately. Yep.
But that's going to do it, as that is the last pick of our mock draft. Jagger, thank you very much for coming on and joining me. Before we get out of here, though, let everyone know what you got going on.
We're over on the Fast Draft channel right now. I'm having content on there all the time. I actually have Wyatt that's going to be on a pod, probably dropping close around the same time, where we go through tiers. If you're into best ball, especially going to have Wyatt on there a lot. It's best ball season. That's what we do at Fast Draft. So there's going to be a lot of content to get you ready for redraft. And I love Dynasty is what I love. There's going to be plenty of that too. It's going to be a catch-all of all kinds of fantasy. So if you just like talking ball, then come over to Fast Draft and see my friends like Wyatt with me.
Everyone out there, make sure you're checking out Fast Draft. And if you're not playing on Fast Draft yet, I don't know why you aren't. It's an awesome, cool, unique way to play fantasy football. If you're not following Jagger yet on Twitter, you better be, and do it soon. Jagger says, if you'd like to follow me, WyattB_FF. Make sure you're liking, subscribing to everything here on the channel. We've got lots of good stuff, lots of cool tools over at playerprofiler.com. Check it all out. I appreciate all of you. See you next time.